Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Fallout Bar of myself, Jack Garwood, and as ever, joined by the ecstatic Cam McFarlane because we have our 7th winner out of a possible 8 in the Premier League, mate. You look really happy about
that. Absolutely, just so happy about it. No, to be fair, there's not much I can say really about tonight. James Wade was absolutely fantastic all night and fully deserved to win tonight. And to be honest, guys, that's probably the last you're going to hear from me because I'm pretty sure there's only one man that's going to be speaking for the entire of this show.
No. I did an entire weekend of streaming solo the weekend. The sound of my voice is incredibly boring. But I am going to big up some comments in the chat room. Daniel says, I bet Gob is happy. HJV says, congrats me. I didn't even play. Rose says, good evening. She's like, yeah, I'm sure Gob is happy. Phil, not so much because she now has to do an interview. Evening all, get around a drink. I'm not made of money, you lot. We'll get
and
to
he's
this.
Very tight with it as well, to be honest.
Daniel as well. Wade underestimated big time. Completely agree. Craig's in. He says hello. Sean says hello. Also, Matthew says hello, and Craig says hello directly just to you as well. Cam, bless him, saying hello to everybody. Yes, week number 10 in the Premier League, just 6 regular nights remaining now, and then we move on to the finals. And we do have a 7th different winner in James Wade. All the usual that we'll do on tonight's show. We'll go through all of tonight's 7 matches. It feels weird saying that because we've actually had a full complement of fixtures this week. No last-minute withdrawals. All 8 players there on the night. Then we'll look ahead to next week as well. Hopefully we'll have an interview from James as the winner, but you never know. That one's always a little bit touch and go until we finally get it. And as per, we'll just do our usual. Steve's in. Hello, buddy. Missed you in Reading this weekend. Let's start with the Michael Smith question then, Cam. Let's not do it midway through the show. Let's do it now. Everybody else in the field has now won a night in this Premier League campaign. Does that just pile the pressure on Michael Smith even more?
Yes, it does. There's no getting away from that. I think I was fairly confident that we would not see everyone win a night in this Premier League, but the player I thought wouldn't win a night has just won one and has been probably the most consistent player over the last few weeks.
This is the people aren't aware.
Yeah, I'm going to stick with my prediction that we don't see a full complement of night winners, and having picked Michael Smith to win the night every single week for the last few, I've lost faith. I do not see where he's going to buy a win from at the moment.
I think I'm in your camp, although at some point, in the next couple of weeks, we're definitely both going to be sat here on a Thursday after a result or on a Monday night. We're both going to look at it and go, Michael Smith wins this week, and we're just going to get that moment.
Yeah, I mean, he's probably just going to turn up one week and average 120 over the 3 matches, and he has got that in his locker, but I don't see where it's coming from right now. And to be honest, even if he does, he'll probably still find a way to lose.
Just got that. It's bold from Cam. Right, let's go through the evening's play then. I don't like the look of that message. Starting off with the battle between the world number 1 and world number 2, both of whom started the evening with brand new equipment once again. For one player, that's not really a shock. For the other one, perhaps it is a little bit. Gerwen Price with a completely new outlook on darts coming into this weekend. New walk-on music. New barrels for the first 8 legs. He did swap back to Old Faithfuls at the end of that, but he does get over the line 6-4 against Peter Wright.
Yeah, the change of equipment was a little bit of a shock. I sort of commented that I thought the points might be a bit longer as well. They didn't seem to be going, or whether they just weren't going in the board as far. I'm not quite so sure, but they worked in a fashion in that he got over the line, but to be honest, in the earlier part of the game, which was most of the point where he used them, it was a bit up and down, a bit backwards and forwards this game. No one was a little bit struggling to hold throw for a while, and it was a pretty good game though. It was quite an enjoyable watch. Peter Wright, as much as they were a new set, at least they were a straight barrel, and we always know that that's always an advantage for him. The 180 hitting at the start of this game from him was done unbelievable. I think there's 5 in the first 5 legs, but then I'm not sure whether he hit another one after that, which is probably what cost him in the end. The scoring just went off a little bit.
Just dropped off, as you said, that 157 from Gerwen Price early on, keeping him within touching distance as Peter Wright was going a little bit berserk on the scoring phase, but that did drop off towards the back end. We've seen that flight and stem combination previously, that orange one piece, but it was certainly a new barrel for Snake. In fact, Lee Huxtable at Red Dragon and Windmill must have had his work cut out for them this week, because there was new barrels for Peter Wright, a new prototype for Gerwen Price. I think there were new flights on Michael Van Gerwen's dart.
Stems, I think, weren't there?
Possibly. And I've heard that Johnny Clayton was throwing slightly moderated barrels with a different grip at the front as well. So every single player that they're responsible for in this field, short of Joe Cullen, I think that's right. Gary, James, Michael Smith, yeah?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Yeah, has had some sort of work done in the last week. That factory has been very, very busy indeed.
It's either he's kept him very busy, and it's been a busy week in terms of getting that sorted because the players all wanted something different, or we're trying to bump up a bit of business and we've got some new releases coming. I don't know which way around.
I hate it when it's the second bit. There was a small product drop from a manufacturer earlier on in the week, and I was like, what a waste of time. But anyway, moving on, Gerwen Price does defeat Peter Wright in the first match of the evening. Game number 2, and it was returned to the Oki for Gary Anderson, recovered from COVID, went up there, chucked his standard 94 average, 50% on the doubles, but again, he's just a dart behind far too often in this Premier League. James Wade, 100 average, 54% on the doubles, 6 out of 11. Nothing over the ton mark in terms of checkout for James, which is a little bit surprising perhaps for a performance of that quality from James, but it's just solid. We say how difficult James is to beat when he's chucking a 95 average and 40% on the doubles. When that's 100 average and 50% on the doubles, you're not getting near him, are you?
No, you're not, are you? That's the thing. And I think it looked quite a little sort of positive start from Gary in this game, and he looked like he was on it for the first couple of legs. Outside of just missing the tops when he went tops on the 137, but then hitting the second one to set it up, which I'm still not sure is the right dart after you've missed the first one outside the board to throw it tops again. But he put it straight in the middle of it, and he didn't come back to the board again as James took it out in sort of 14 darts or whatever it was. But then he went on and took 14 darts of his own second leg, and you thought he might be on this week, and he might, in the little break last week, and he might just bounce back. But after that, it was pretty much one-way traffic, and James Wade just did a bit of a job on him.
He did indeed, and I suppose this is where the fact the Premier League is in that match play format, in that short format, he must be one of the most difficult players on the circuit to break his throw. And in this short format, especially when there is no bulling off before that, so there's no, he just keeps missing outside. The players are handed it depending on where they are in the draw bracket. If he gets a night when he's at the top of that draw bracket, he's having a lot of fun there, isn't he?
Of course he is, and that's the thing. It is not easy to break his throw, especially, certainly not tonight, because that first game was one of 2 ton plus averages from James Wade. Now, as we always say, a ton plus average from James Wade is about 120 average from anyone else. With the way, especially the way he was on the outer ring tonight as well, you're just not beating that, especially not on his own throw, unless you're going out in 9.
Yeah. Cullen went 5 deep, I think, at one point, but everybody seems to be fascinated with the one.
He went 7 deep at one point.
That's the one. Close enough.
He also did go 5 deep a couple of times as well, I think.
Moving on to arguably, not even arguably, well, the final was pretty good.
So this was the game of the night. Come on, let's not sugarcoat it. As good as the final was, this was the game of the night.
Game of the night, and in contention for game of the tournament as well. It was that bloody good. Johnny Clayton.
I think I'll give it that as well. To be honest, we've sat here and moaned every single week about the standard and the fact it's getting worse and worse from week to week. We saw some bloody good games tonight, and this was by far the best we've seen throughout the entire tournament.
We've had 1 or 2 games, but not massively. And I think the fact they don't stick out is a little bit of an issue, but this one was absolutely superb. Johnny Clayton getting over the line 6-5 against Michael Van Gerwen, who did miss a dart at double 18 for the match. The pair averaged 109.1 for Clayton and 105.1 for Van Gerwen. But the scampering ferret just did enough to stay in touch with Van Gerwen. Van Gerwen wasn't. It's probably the wrong way around to say that, actually. Clayton quickest out of the blocks, looked the better player. Van Gerwen some top finishing, 3-ton plus checkout, just bang, 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 just taking it away from Johnny.
I mean, the first one, the 152 was just utterly ridiculous in the fact that he hadn't thrown a single dart straight until that point. And I'm sat here just shouting at the TV saying, why, when you've won like 3 out of the last 5 nights or whatever it is, have you decided to change your stem and your flights? And there were other words besides that, as I was just thinking, what are you doing? And then he goes 152, and then the next leg he takes out the 131, which I was just moaning at him for saying, why have you gone back up to the 20s there? Because you're better off leaving 132 than 131. And before I'd finished saying it, he took out the 131. It was just utterly ridiculous.
What do you know, eh?
He should have been 4-0 down at this point and was back in it at 2-2, and then you fancied him to run away with it. But I think the real turning point was 3 darts at 16 after the finishing, double 16, sorry, after the finishing that we'd seen from him before that. To miss 3 clear darts at 32 and lose the leg was pretty poor, to be honest.
Yeah, do you think, we said it there, that Clayton... not got over the line in the end, despite how good the match turned into?
I have no idea what you just said then. I lost you. I don't know whether everyone else did.
Good effort. From 4-0, what could have been 4-0 up, Clayton dragged back into a match. It would have been one of those where he absolutely kicks himself had he not got over the line in that last leg, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would have been. But then again, if MPG takes out the... I forgot what it was it 115?
115.
115, yeah. If he takes that out, you kind of just sit there and say fair play. In fact, again, he would have had to go out in 9 to take it, but then you just knew that 71 was just going. It was always just going.
A couple of questions in the chat room. Matthew says, what do we think of the new walk-on song? And Dan says, did Gezi walk out to Material Girl? It wasn't Material Girl, it was Raw by Katy Perry.
Wonderful, wonderful song choice. Miles better than Ice Ice Baby. But one thing to comment on that is the fact that we only heard him roar once, which was at the end of his first round game. Nothing during the game whatsoever. I thought, surely he's going to come out and give it some throughout the entire game. We didn't get that.
Yeah, quite placid from him, wasn't it? But yeah, no, I'm not a fan. For Ice Ice Baby.
It's better than no. That's just terrible.
That was just cheesy. It's not a walk-on song.
I mean, it gets people going a bit more than like. No, nobody's getting excited over Ice Ice Baby, are they? Like,
plenty of boos. Do you think maybe it's they can't boo Katy Perry?
Yeah, exactly. Who's booing Katy Perry?
Me. Anyway, moving on to the quarterfinal of the night. And as we discussed at the start of the night, pressure is now mounting on Michael Smith after he was beaten 6-2 by Joe Cullen. An absolute disaster of a night on the outer ring for Michael Smith, and it wasn't much better in the scoring department. Just an 89 average for Bully Boy. Started picking up legs at 5-0 behind, but far too damage was done by them massively, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. He looked like he might want a bit of a run towards the end and looked like he got, but it was just that whole thing of, end of the day, you're 5-0 down. Like, it's meaningless, isn't it? There's nothing in it. You can just relax and throw a few darts, but at the end of the day, Joe was always going to get over the line. And I think it's the first night where I've really sat here and just thought, he didn't really look like he wanted to be there tonight. He looked like the towel was thrown in pretty early, to be honest. And that might be a bit unfair. And we all know I'm a very big fan of Michael Smith, always in his corner. But maybe he was trying too hard. Maybe it was the opposite. I know he had the kids there as well because it's fairly local for him as well. Maybe he was just trying a bit too hard, but it just looked like it didn't look like it. To be fair, it looked like he'd kind of was very frustrated with his game and not that sort of mature performance that we've seen from him a lot since over the last sort of 6 months or so. It looked like back to the old sort of petulant, I've had enough here, it's not going my way.
It was one of them, wasn't it, where when you're struggling, you just want your doubles, don't you? You want a nice, comfortable dart at tops and tens if you're Michael Smith to get yourself. And it just never really felt that way, did he? End up on 15s for a bit. We know he likes 15s, but didn't quite get there. He finds himself on 6s and 3s. Then he finds himself on 19s as well. And it was constantly awkward for a man chasing the game to stay in it when they're on 20s and 10s and he's getting darts at them. Bang, bang, back in the match. 4-2, 4-3, etc. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. But to be honest, a lot of that was his own fault. Like, when he's left double three, it was just utterly ridiculous. Why are you going 3-6-6 anyway? It's a ridiculous way to go. And then to miss it inside and leave yourself double three. You go 7-4, you miss it inside, so at double two, it's not that bad of a double. It doesn't matter if you go inside, you've got another shot. It's just stupidity, to be honest. And that's where I kind of thought he just wasn't thinking and wasn't really concentrating.
Talking of not thinking and not concentrating, we will discuss. Where's it gone? The second semi-final, very, very shortly. Let's do the first semi-final, which was another solid performance from James Wade, 54% on the doubles. Once again, 6 out of 11 from Wadey, including 3 ton pluses, one of which was a 161. Just brilliant. When it early doors, gets out in front, had the darts, I think. He had the advantage. He just punished every single little mistake from Gezi tonight, didn't he?
He did, and there's again some magical finishing. Another player that we saw go on fire in 3 ton plus finishes. The 161 was a bit of absolute class, and yeah, he just didn't sort of give him any opportunity to get back in it. I mean, Gezi didn't play as well as he did in the quarterfinal, but he also wasn't given a lot of opportunity to. In the fact that this was a truly wading sort of performance in that he's averaged over 50% of his doubles. He only averaged early 90s, which is what we usually kind of expect from him, but he just punished every opportunity he got and looked really comfortable.
That also makes it 3 from 3 for James Wade over Gerwen Price in this year's Premier League campaign. He seems to go through these phases where he just has one of the top boys' numbers for a period, doesn't he? Like, do you remember a couple of years ago it was Van Gerwen when he was back in the Premier League? He just didn't know how to lose to Van Gerwen. This time it seems to be Gerwen Price, 3 from 3 through 10 weeks.
Sorry, got distracted, didn't I?
Wadey, 3 from 3 against Gezi in the Premier League campaign.
Yes, he is. He seems to just have a little bit over him at the moment. And I think the main thing is it comes down to the fact that Gezi's not quite at it. He's not at the level we kind of expect from him. So anyone who's not at the level you expect from them, he's going to get turned over by James Wade week in, week out. And that's happening at the moment.
Pete, I'm more than here for it. Talking of getting distracted, very aptly, as you've just managed to do yourself, as well as we mentioned about that quarter-final, Johnny Clayton. Miscounting last week, leaves a 159 at one point this week, and then on 122 with Joe Cullen on a finish. First start is at the 20s.
Yep, and he also left the 169, and 169, 159, and then the 122 throws at the 20s. It's just, I feel like we don't give him.
I'm at the point now where I was with Jose de Souza.
Yeah, that's exactly.
The first couple of times, it's amusing, and you go, "Hi, he's getting away with it." And like when it genuinely starts costing players, I'm not even that. Just when you've seen him do it so many times, and it's the same counter mistake, and it's the same not concentrating, and it's starting 20s on 302. Like, I understand not everybody is Einstein at maths, but you don't need to be in darts. You just have to recognise patterns. You don't even need to count. You just have to know, for the most part, especially at this level, where from 303 you expect them to go 19s and you expect them to hit at least 119, etc. That sort of thing. You just have to know the patterns of play, And if it goes wrong to start with, then you ask the referees what left.
Yeah,
But
no, I'm with you on this.
there's no excuse for it, especially not when you play as many legs of darts as these guys do.
Yeah, I just think I completely agree with the fact that it's just not good enough. And I'm at that same point, like you said, that we got to with Jose, where we sat here, and I've sat here multiple times and said about Jose that it's amateur and it's really poor and it's not good enough and it's not good enough from a top player in the world. And we kind of let Johnny get away with it for so long because of how good he's been for the last 2 years. But no, it's the same thing. It's not good enough.
I let Phil Taylor get away with it for 2 decades.
Yeah, but he won everything still. Johnny's not winning everything, and that's the difference. But yeah, I'm all right with 3 or 2, someone starting on 20s. That one I don't really care because you've got to hit 2 treble 20s regardless, or at least sort of 2 trebles, big trebles regardless. I don't mind that one so much. 3 or 3, obviously 19s because it's all at the same target, but you've got to switch targets regardless on the 3 or 2. So I don't mind that one as much, as long as you remember to switch on the last start, which I'm not sure he would do. I'm sure he'd just go at 20s again. But yeah, it's just not good enough, is it?
I suppose it goes 2 ways. Sometimes you're just that much in the zone, you aren't really fussed about what you've got left, because I guess
it depends how far back your opponent is. I mean, if they can't, I think we possibly saw Joe do it at one point tonight. I don't know if it was Joe. Someone did it at one point tonight, but it might have been Wade actually against Joe. But Joe's on 3-5-6. He couldn't leave a finish regardless. So yeah, I don't mind it then. Like, throw at whatever your favourite number is at that point. But yeah,
I guess it's that thing, isn't it, that darts is actually quite a mentally taxing sport because you're constantly switched on. It's deemed as 90% mental and 10% physical, etc. Plus, you've got other counting involved as well. And actually, once you've scored over 150 points in a leg, you can leave a finish. Or from the majority of numbers, you can leave a finish. And it's about understanding how to do that from there. And I suppose for Johnny, it's easier to switch on when he's below 270, knowing that straight tons, whatever. But I just think, especially how often these players play each other, how often they get chances at the big outs, you're just limiting your opportunities against them.
Yeah, no, exactly right. It's just, you can't afford to do it. Like, you just can't. And you can't give these players opportunities to get amongst you because it's not even when they've, like, I suppose I'm saying, like, sometimes when they can't leave a finish, it's fine. But at the end of the day, if they then go 180, like 136 from 3-5-6 to leave tops, you could have put yourself in banging trouble anyway because there's nothing to say that from that 159 you're going to leave yourself handy on a double yourself.
Completely. Right, and then on to the final. James Wade against Joe Cullen. A superb performance from the machine. It's his 3rd final in a row, but this time he does get over the finishing line 6-5 against Joe Cullen. 105 average, 66% on the doubles, his best performance of the night in that regard so far. 68 was his highest checkout, but it was absolutely crucial. 48 double 10 with Cullen sat on a finish. And ultimately had the darts in the deciding leg, stayed ahead, did what he did, was difficult to break throughout the entire performance.
Yeah, he was, and that was the thing at the end of the day. That's what got him over the line, the fact that it's very, very difficult to nick those darts off him because he is so consistent with the scoring. I mean, you look at 15 140s in this match. Like, it's over the course of 11 legs.
It's more 140s than he hit tons.
Yeah. And that's it. And I'll be honest, until I looked at the end at the stats, I didn't think he'd average 105. I thought it was mid-90s. I thought it was just standard James Webb mid-90s, but it was so consistent on the scoring. There were no poor visits, and it just meant that it just was unplayable almost. And I mean, fair play to Joe Cullen for getting 5 legs off him, because this could have really hurt his leg difference the way that James played, and Cullen's managed to get 5 legs off him. We'll only end up just losing the one there.
He did indeed. And then we have it, James Wade, your winner in Manchester on night number 10, his third final, or his fourth final of the campaign. I think that puts him level with Van Gerwen now on most final appearances, considering actually start of the campaign, Cam. It was one of two players that perhaps we didn't quite fancy to reach to win an event, reaching that final, but he's gone and done it regularly at the minute, and he's possibly one of the more informed players in this Premier League right now.
I think he probably is the form horse right now, isn't he? You're going to be a very profitable man at the moment, backing James Wade, because as long as you keep backing that man each way, even if he doesn't win, he's making the final frame. So he's the form horse right now, and he's the one that you want to be on.
We are indeed. Just waiting. There we have it. Here we go, then, folks. As per, we have a little clip from Wade from his post-match press conference.
It's the same as every dart player. If every dart player plays their best game, they're average 120, 125. But it doesn't happen, you know. I feel that the game's focused by certain people on certain players, you know. And if it was focused by certain people on certain players on games, you know, we would all shine, wouldn't we, like a star? I'm trying as hard as anyone, probably harder than most people. I believe I'm one of the best, and I believe that I'm here for a reason. So, you know, I'm enjoying it, but dreading it at the same time, which is, I've always done that my whole dart career.
I know it sounds like we're waxing lyrical about James all night and amazing because I'm the host, but that's the first time I've really heard him say, I genuinely think I'm one of the best.
Yeah. Well, we hear it sometimes from him, but generally it's more in a...
We hear it occasionally going, oh yeah, I'm fed up with the media kicking me off.
Yeah, exactly that. And I think...
To turn around and go, I think I'm one of the best, that's why I'm here.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing. It's that was a confident, I think I'm one of the best, and that he's going to be hard to beat from now on, rather than I'm a bit pissed off that people aren't giving me the credit that I deserve.
Yeah. Refreshing to hear, I think, from Wade, that he picked up his first title, as we keep saying. Let's look ahead to next week then, Cam, as we do every other week. We are at the P&J in Aberdeen as we head north of the border, as per same format as always. Craig's going to be there as well, I believe, mate, so hope you enjoy your evening. But yeah, starting with Johnny Clayton against Gary Anderson. Cam, how's this one going to
go? Home crowd, home support. Do we think it brings anything out of Gary on the night and gets him over the line against Johnny? Not with the John. Not.
We say home crowd. He's probably travelling further than anybody else in the
team. Yeah. There is that.
Even Michael from Holland cannot be too far away than the entire length of the UK.
Well, yeah, but I mean, you tell me he's not going to have the most support of anyone.
Oh yeah, 100%. They'll love it.
So yeah, I don't know. No, I don't. The way that Johnny played tonight, I know he wasn't as good in the semi-final, but the way he played in that first game tonight, I just don't see Gary finding enough to do that. So I think we see a 6-3 Johnny Clayton win.
Yeah, I think Gary picks up a couple of legs in the early part, as he seems to have done in every single match that he's played all season. But he just doesn't seem to have that punchiness in his game now to kick on, go that little bit further, or to stay competitive once we get over the 5-6 leg sort of format. So, yeah, I'm going Johnny as well. I'm going to say he wins that one 6-3. Game number 2 on the night, Peter Wright against Joe Cullen.
Yeah, this is a tricky one, to be fair, because Peter Wright has generally been very good in the first game of the night. He started very well this week as well. Joe has been pretty average for the most part, but played quite well tonight, made the final. Is it going to be a little upturn in form, or was it just a boost from the fact that he walked out in Manchester to an Oasis song and got all the crowd on his side? I don't know which one it might be there, but I think Peter Wright coming out wearing probably some form of blue and white attire gets over the line and wins 6-4.
Sounds about right. 6-3 for me though in this one. I'm gonna go snaky. Yeah, we're gonna go 6-3 to Peter Wright in this one. Although that could all change after we see them play on the Euro Tour this weekend, but that's where I'm gonna go with that one. In the bottom half, then the most recent winner of a night takes on the only man yet to win a night. James Wade takes on Michael Smith.
I know which way I want to pick, but I just can't see it. I don't see it happening. So 6-2 James Wade.
You struggled there, aren't you? You hated that.
I'll be honest. I didn't actually hate that. I think fair play to James Wade. He's been brilliant the last few weeks, and I just see it carrying on. I see it keep going, and I think he wins again.
Get your predictions in the chat room as well, guys. I will try and get a few of them up on screen. There are a couple of questions in there as well. Colin says, "Who drew the short straw for the gig? Gogs, yourself or Phil? Which gig, buddy? If it's anything to do with the Premier League, it'll be Phil. I don't travel. He drives. I don't." Mike says, "First time live here. Big up both. Smash the like and subscribe. And damn you, God, with Wade winning." Hey, just the way it goes, isn't it? Michael says, "Wright 3, Cullen 6, Wade 6, Smith 1. Looks out of form, Mike is right now." Jeff also says, "Machine win." I'm going to say Wadey wins as well. I'm going to say 6-3 to James Wade, I think. We're going with that one.
We're agreeing on a lot of things recently. I don't like it.
Jason goes, "Hopefully he can win now with Cam not backing him." Do you think that's it? Forget the fact it's the pressure of winning a title. It's Cam not keeps backing him up.
It may well be right. I can't even say that I'm deliberately now just backing against him just to try and help him out. I've just lost faith, I'll be
honest. Where are we? Final game of the night.
Number 4
against Michael Van Gerwen. What a belter of a quarterfinal tie this one is. They've delivered the last couple of times they've played. Where are you going with this one, Cam?
I like Van Gerwen in this. I just don't think there's quite the consistency yet from Gezi. I think it looked better tonight and it looked like he was getting back to something, but I still think he's a little bit away from it yet. I think Van Gerwen's just got those gears he can go through that I don't think Gezi's got right now. That top gear just doesn't seem to be there. So I think we'll see MVG win this one. Probably 6-4.
Yeah, same. It's not a good night. Why do we keep doing this?
We keep agreeing. The problem is, we both agreed that Michael Smith would win last week, and he got absolutely pumped in the first round. So anyone who's considering gambling responsibly with our friends at BoyleSports on this, probably just
go your own way.
Probably just back against everything we put.
As Fleetwood Mac saying, "Go your own way."
Yeah,
that one. There we go then. From your last 4, from your semi-final lines, pick me the winner.
Winner. Who's going to be the winner? Who do I like to win this? I think we see Johnny Clayton beat Peter Wright, and we see James Wade beat Michael Van Gerwen, and we see James Wade go back to back.
No. Now you just try to shift the Michael Smith curse onto Wade.
No, I'm not. No, I think we do. I think if it comes down to it in the final, Johnny plays some miscounts at some point, and James Wade punishes him, and then his head falls off, and Wade just cruises to victory.
Is this also not a week where Wadey failed to qualify for the Euro Tour, so he has less travelling? Or is he in this one? I haven't looked at the draw yet.
I haven't looked. I can't tell you on that one, I'll be honest.
It's not something I have open on the screen either, but it definitely came out earlier today. But yes. You're sort of right, but I'm going for the top 2 meeting in the final. Johnny Clayton against Michael van Gerwen. I'm going to say Van Gerwen gets back to winning ways.
Yeah, I can see that. I genuinely do. I think the winner comes from the winner of that semi-final. And it could.
Yeah, Wade's not in the Euro Tour this weekend, so it'd be nice and refreshed, actually.
Well, yeah, it would. Yeah, conceivably could go either way that semi-final, and the winner probably comes from that. But then again, what do we know?
What do we know? Indeed, that's the perfect way to finish. What do we know? But why are you also listening to us every week?
Fantastic, isn't
really,
it?
Really do appreciate you guys keeping us company throughout. A reminder: if you want to watch James Wade's interview in full, you can catch it on our YouTube channel once that's uploaded very, very soon. The live league is in action. It is Champions Week going on right now. You can catch action from Group B this evening. That one's live on our YouTube channel now. It should be through until about 1:30 in the morning if you want some late night darts. The Euro Tour is on this weekend. We'll have reports up on the website for you. No live stream for that one, as you guys can all catch it via PDC TV. And keep an eye on our social media. If you're not following us at the minute, make sure you do at Online Darts, at Official OL Darts, I think it is on Twitter, or follow us on Facebook as well to find out when the next live lounge is, because Monday night there will be a Euro Tour, so we're just debating on whether or not we move this to Tuesday next week, but apparently there's a big football game between my team and Lee's team, and he might want to watch that instead. So we're just working out when the live lounge will be for you guys next week. We missed last week, and that's double up. We're not about to do that again if we can avoid it, so do stay tuned for that one, and we'll let you all know as soon as possible. Big thank you to all of our sponsors, to Modus, Red Dragon, Windmill, and of course to BoyleSports, our title sponsors who make all of this happen. Thanks to Cam and Phil in the background, and all of you in the chat room as well. You guys have been superb once again throughout the show. We'll see you again next week.